Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at the Roman Empire using those great text excerpts you sent in. Our mission basically is to unpack the big factors behind Rome's rise and its eventual fall. Okay, let's jump right in. Foundational myths. Romulus and Remus, where do we start?
Right, that story. It's fascinating, isn't it? Twins, a wolf, founding a city, but then, Romulus kills Remus. Fratricide right at the origin. And you have to wonder how that shaped their identity early on, this mix of brotherhood and brutal conflict.
Yeah, it's a powerful, almost grim starting point. It sort of sets the stage for the Republic, maybe. All that internal struggle.
Definitely connects. Think about the Republic's constant tension. The patricians, the aristocrats versus the plebeians, the commoners.
That struggle wasn't just noise, though, was it? It actually shaped their politics.
Exactly. The plebeians kept pushing, demanding more rights, more say, and that pressure forced the Republic to evolve, to adapt its structures. It shows how internal conflict can actually drive change. For a while, anyway.
Okay, so the Republic evolves, and then comes Caesar. Julius Caesar. His reforms always feel like a massive accelerating moment towards the empire. What were the big ones?
Well, Caesar was incredibly popular, His reforms resonated with many. Combine that with his military victories and how he cleverly consolidated power. He basically reshaped the whole system. Didn't call himself emperor, not officially, but the groundwork was absolutely laid.
It really makes you think how one person's ambition can just reroute history.
It does, and after all that turmoil, you get the empire and the famous Pax Romana.
Ah, yes, the Roman peace.
Yeah.
Centuries of relative quiet. What was the secret?
Stability. Across this enormous empire, they managed to maintain a long period of security and order. And that stability was like fuel for the economy. Trade boomed, infrastructure projects took off.
Like the roads and aqueducts.
Precisely. Roman influence spread, culture flourished. It really shows what peace, even imposed peace, can enable.
You mentioned infrastructure. Those Roman engineers are something else.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Their roads, aqueducts, massive public buildings. It was all essential.
How so? Beyond just looking impressive.
Well, think about it. Roads meant faster troop movement, easier trade, communication. Aqueducts supplied water to growing cities. It all underpinned the empire's stability, its reach. It projected Roman power.
Makes sense. But even with all that, it didn't last forever. Things started to fray. Slave labor is often mentioned as a factor in the decline.
Yeah.
What was the impact there?
It's complex, but yeah. Relying so heavily on slave labor, economically it might seem efficient short-term, but long-term, it probably dampened innovation. Why invent a labor-saving device if labor is cheap, right? And it created huge social divisions, instability.
Right. Less incentive to push forward technologically. And what about the military? Their loyalty started shifting, didn't it? Away from Rome itself.
Yes, that was a huge problem later on. Soldiers became more loyal to their successful generals, the ones who paid them well and led them to victory, rather than loyalty to the abstract idea of the state or the emperor back in Rome sometimes.
So you get powerful generals who can challenge the central authority.
Exactly. It led to civil wars, instability,
Yeah.
a major fracturing of that military backbone.
And then there were economic troubles, too. Inflation, crises.
Persistent economic problems definitely played a part, debasing the currency, trade disruptions. It weakens the state's ability to function, pay the army, maintain infrastructure. It fuels social unrest.
So it's all interconnected. The internal weaknesses mount up.
And then you have the external pressures piling on.
The so-called barbarian invasions, leading to the sacking of Rome. That feels like the symbolic end, doesn't it?
It really does. While the Eastern Empire continued, the sack of Rome by groups like the Visigoths became this powerful symbol. It represented the culmination of all those internal decays and the overwhelming external pressures, the fall of the West.
So, looking back, it's clear there's no single cause. It's this whole tangle of things. From their origin stories, the political shifts, the economy booming, the engineering marvels, right through to the military loyalty shifting, economic problems, and finally, invasion.
Precisely. It's a complex tapestry. The rise was spectacular, fueled by certain strengths, but the seeds of decline were perhaps always there, woven in.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. Thinking about Rome's immense influence, its shadow stretching even to today, what aspect of its rise, or maybe its fall, do you think offers the most sort of relevant lesson for societies now? What should we really be looking at?